Hello, Paper Florists. Thanks so much for joining me. So we are going to continue our journey on the Flanders poppy, and we're going to do the seed pods right now. So I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to do the seed pods. One of them is involving this is a spun cotton little small egg-shaped piece, and it's probably about 3/4 of an inch, maybe almost an inch long, tall, I guess. And the other way is I'm just going to cover some of our wire, and we're going to create the seed pod. So let's get going. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a fold on. I've got a couple of 20 gauge pieces of wire here, and I want them to have, I want to have a little bit of an opening. I kind of got ahead of myself there. There we go. Straighten that all out. And it's about 1 foot long. And I'm just going to take some scrap pieces of paper that I have to create the seed pod. And like I said, I'm just going to use some scrap pieces of paper. You can use whatever works for you. And I'm assuming that most of us don't have these little egg-shaped balls on them, and more people are going to probably want to do it this way. So I thought I would show you both. And the first thing we're going to do is just going to take a couple of these strips just to start. And if you hear the tearing in the back, that's Tucker chewing on a paper box. And so we're just going to put a little bit of a bead of glue here, not even a bead, lots of little dots. We're going to do the same thing on the other one, if I can get it to go flat. And I'll move that up so make sure you can see it. And there. So we're going to take this piece that we created, this loop. And the reason for this loop is just to make it secure. So we're just going to tuck that under the loop and then squeeze that loop down a little more. There. And then we're just going to start wrapping it. So we want to create an egg-shaped piece for our seed pod, which is probably going to be about 1 inch or so tall. And I want to concentrate on getting it bigger down here at the bottom. And it'll just keep getting bigger here. Just keep going up and down with more on the lower edge, obviously. Sorry about the quick interruption, but just going to continue to build this piece. And they're basically, I think I misspoke here. We want the top to be where we're going to put our the little cap on it. So we actually want it to be like this. No, sorry, like this on our stem. And I realized, I was thinking about the way I had done the finishing techniques on this. I realized that the foliage on a poppy isn't bright green. It's kind of a Dusty Miller kind of almost color, as I recall from my own garden. And but you know, that's kind of the fun of what we do, that we can kind of make things up. So you can do it any color you want. So we're just basically going to build up here. See, we're getting there. Start at the top, go around a couple times, fold it in. We'll go over the top and fold it. And you'll be able to manipulate this as you go. This may actually be fine for the size of these Flanders poppies. Aren't as big as like an Asiatic or another kind of poppy. Do one more wrap here, and I think that's all we're going to need. And then just to keep it all nice and tight, I'm going to just bring this down. Okay, so the one thing we want to do is just flatten out that top. You can use the strength of your work surface to do that. So see how we've got that. Now we're going to take I have a small piece of the fern and moss. I think that's what it's called. The green that we always use. And I want the brighter green to be on the outside. Like I said, it probably isn't the right color. And if you'd like, you can actually manipulate it a little after it's done, but I'm going to leave that up to you. So we're going to cover this up. We'll add some more glue up there. And we're going to cover that anyway with, whoops. Put glue on the top. And there, it's okay that there's a little bit there because we're going to cover that. So let's see if my glue gun is hot. And if it is, I will go ahead and do the other one. Yep. I really like to use a glue gun for these pieces because the last thing you want is for it to go flying off. And I did this upside down. So do as I say, not as I do. Let's try one more time. I'm going to grab an awl. There we go. And I'm going to put a hole on this side with that awl. Okay, now we're going to try again. Put a little glue on the end. Excuse me, I have to stop for just a moment and I will be right back while we're letting this glue dry. Okay, so we're back. And I just want to cut a few more strips of this. And we're going to cover this one. Just going to start in the middle. Try to get that to stay. Come down. And I'm just gonna wrap it a few times on the bottom there to get it secure. And then do it again. Grab another. Boop. I'm going to go for a longer piece and get it done first time. So many of you have told me that you like it when I leave my mistakes in. Because we all make them. And, you know, I don't care how experienced you are going to make mistakes. Happens to all of us. There we go. Okay. So we're just going to cover that piece. We're going to come down. Oops. There we go. And we'll hit this with some glue as well. Okay, I think we're almost good here. Come back up. See, I've got this little spot right here that the tape didn't want to stay on. So there we go. Okay, so, and then I'm going to place some glue on it. Kind of make it up. Why is that not going the way I want it to? There. And we're going to do one more just to make it look pretty. Now we're going to start. I want to make sure I have a really good bead of glue on here so that it adheres really well. Okay, so this is going to be our last coat. So we're going to come up. We're going to come up to the top. See how we can press that down? Okay. Then we're going to slowly, we'll come in and tap it down more. We're going to slowly go down the rest of the pod. And they're a little bit different shapes. This one's a little more round. And I'm okay with that. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one. Flatten out the top. Okay, so now we're gonna do probably the most difficult part of this project, which is that little round piece on the top of the seed pod. So I'm just gonna take a small piece of this green crepe, and I'm going to cut a circle. I'm going to create a circle. I'm not very good at this, so we'll see if it actually is a circle. And this might be too big. I think it's too long. Not bad. But I think it still is a little bit big. So I'm just going to keep cutting it down until I get it the size that I want. What would probably be even better for this, you know, we think things after the fact. I don't know about you, but I have epiphanies sometimes in the middle of the night. And I think, oh, that's where I should do that. So, I'm totally out of round here, but it's going to be fine. So depending on how big you want your seed pod to be, and with this one, yes, okay. So the first thing we're going to do is, this is about the right size for this one. I just want to, okay. So you're probably going to want a pair of detail scissors. Let's see if I have a pair handy. I have 2 pairs here. I'll see which ones I want to use. And we're going to just create little notches in this all the way around. So just little small notches like that. You know what else might work? Let's cut another one. So this is probably the way that most people are going to do it. I'll come back to this. I have a pair of pinking shears that have a small scallop on them. And what you're just doing is, I'll bring this right up close to the camera here for you. And we're just going to cut these little divots all the way around. I have to say, that shout out to my friend Lynn Dolan. She's the one that enlightened me for this. And you basically just want it to look kind of ragged. It's a very uneven shape. And just keep going. This one, I need my glasses for this. Just little notches all the way around. And I think what you want to do is you want to learn to move your scissors, not your, move your scissors, not your paper. And I'm just moving, I'm going to move kind of off camera here a little bit. I'm just turning my hand as I go. We were working with the black before, I mentioned that black's just really hard to see the details on. And this is not a perfect fringe at all, or edge, but that's okay. I always tell people, you know, I know we do strive to make it look as close to nature as possible, but in reality, we're never going to do what Mother Nature does. And also, I think of it as kind of trompe l'oeil, which means to fool the eye. I don't know if you've ever been to Monticello, Thomas Jefferson's home. Yes, he was a slave owner. But aside from that huge flaw, he's one of the signers and writers of the Constitution. Okay. And we are also going to take our awl and we're going to put a hole like right here, which is basically what you're saying is that's where it's going to connect. So just put a hole in there like that. And then this is going to sit right on the top. So I'm going to put some glue. I'm going to get my fingers messy with this because I want to get glue all over it, pretty much. And we're just going to basically put it right there on, no we're not, right there on this top. Let's make sure it's on the center. And it's sticking to my fingers. Excuse me. I removed all the glue. There we go. It's far from perfect, and I am going to take a little bit of Pan Pastel to it to add some color. And I'm going to make that dot in the middle a little more pronounced. There. Okay. So just let that set up. And then I'm going to show you another way to do this. So I'm going to take another small piece. This one's going to have to be smaller. Haha, that was pretty good. Pretty round. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do for it. I have a pair of these pinking shears. I've used them before. They don't have a brand or anything on them. I bought them on Amazon. And they're kind of big, but it's okay. And I think, I don't know if you can see it or not, I'll open this up. It has this really tight, jagged edge. And I'm just going to go around here like that. Just keep going. I want to just keep rolling it along. There. Yes. Okay, we're going to go ahead and glue this one on, and then we'll put the hole in the center of it. I hope we're going to cover that up. Yeah, we are. And again, we'll use our awl and put a hole in it. Remember, this is all the paper that we did, but and it's not very even, but there. So there you have it. And I would come in with some, I'm going to flip this up around here like that. It's like a little hat, right? I'm going to come in, I'm going to put you on hold for just a second, and I'm going to show you how I would color those. Okay, so we're back. I'm going to just kind of clean up my space here a little bit. I have, let's finish wrapping these first. So I'm going to take that's going to be two nuts. Let's just take a piece about this long. I'm going to go ahead and do the stem. So before we get to the coloring, let's finish this off the stem. And just wrap that all the way down. You can use floral tape for this. This is my go-to. Oops, it's not going on there like I would like it to. There we go. And these are longer than we're going to probably cut these down when we put them all together at the very end. And after I'm done with doing these, finishing the bloom, doing the foliage, Christina is going to come back with a bonus that you're going to love. And it's going to be perfect for Veterans Day. I'm going to do the same thing here. I don't know why I'm having a hard time with this wire. It's not going on as smooth as I would like it to do. But this is kind of a rustic bloom. Okay, so there, I'm cleaning up my hands. Okay, so I have these colors. I have like an olive green here. This is a bright yellow green shade. This is bright yellow green tint, and this is permanent green. I'm sure your screen isn't off enough to think this is green, because it sure doesn't look green to me. And I have, let's see if I can do this. I'm going to cut this down a little. Now here we go. Okay, so I'm going to take a little of this green You know what else I think I'm going to do? I'm going to grab a red. Red adds just a really nice color to green, anything green. Because they're opposites on the color wheel, so it'll just really change it up. Oops, that's good. Wait, oh, this is even better actually. So see, it's got way too much color on it, but this is a little closer to what the real color is of a seed pod. And so we're going to come back in here, a little more of this red, put it right in there. And then I'm going to go to this olivey kind of green. And then just add a color to your heart's content. Now, like I said, this is, not something you have to do. So there's one. Let's try this one. And I'm going to start with just a tad of red in the center, just dabbing it in there. And then I'll add a little bit of this. So I'm going to go a little more gently than I did last time. And I think we get a nicer effect here too. I'm back to heavy again. Okay, now we're going to add a little bit of this color here. What else would be a good thing if you wanted to do it is to Mod Podge this seed pod. It would make the paper look better, I think. So there we have it. We're going to add it to our bloom that we did. And what you'll generally see is the seed pod will come up and away. And they're very tall. So there you have it. That's our seed pods, 2 ways. You can see they're totally different. And you know what? That's okay. The reason for these tutorials is to gain skills that we can use as we go along. And I think we're definitely doing some of that. So thanks so much for joining me. We will come back and wrap up. Hello, Paper Florists. Thanks so much for joining me. We are going to do the calyx on these cute little flowers, and I think I have some done for you already. And we can do those. It's not going to be difficult at all. So I'm just going to just take a small piece. I'll cut this because I can use the rest of it. About that long, and that is, I would say it's about 2 inches, and it is. So we're going to do the short little rounded ones first, and I used a different kind of paper on there. I used 90, but I think this is going to be better. So we're going to need 3 of those. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, and just cut a piece for all 3. There we go. Excuse me. I'm still dealing with allergies. And these are going to be just little round ones. So we're just going to make, and they're not really big. I'm just going to make them a little long. Like about like that. I'm going to do 3 of them. If you're like me, you will never have 3 that are exactly alike. Okay, so we're going to take these, and we want the green, the bright green side out. So we're going to actually cup these. Look how the color changes a little. And if you're wondering about all these bites and bruises on my arms, as you may be aware, I have a new puppy. And puppies' teeth, they don't know how to control their urges. And their teeth are really sharp, like little razor blades. Okay, so I'm going to put a little glue on each one of these. I'm going to take this and turn it upside down, and we want to do these in threes. So I'm going to put the first one right there. Just press it on. Second one will go here. And the third one will go here. And I have to say that I'm not 100% sure on these. I'm hoping that they're pretty close to being right, because I didn't have one we weren't able to do a dissection. So now I'm going to need a piece. So the rest of this I'm going to use for wrapping. So I'm going to take another piece, a little bit longer. And this one is about 2.5 inches. And I'm going to do 3 of those. I'm going to do, let's see, just cut 3 small pieces about 1 inch. Yeah, about 1 inch wide. And we're going to free cut these. So I'm going to come down on this side. And then I'm going to come out here. And then I'm going to come down here. Cut that out. And then another one down like that. Okay. We'll do the same thing here. We're going to cut it down to about there. And we're going to take this and come down to about here. And then we're going to come down like that. So we have these little things. Now I'm going to use my thumb and my thumbnail is what I'm going to use. And I'm going to give these a little, just to take some of the stiffness out of the paper. I'm going to give these, take my damp finger, and I'm going to give it just a little bit of a roll here, ever so slight. There. So we've got 3 of those. Do the same thing here. Just need to be careful that you don't rip your paper. And just give it a little twist here. Helps to make your fingers damp. And last one. So I made those first ones for my prototypes with 90 gram, but I realized not everybody really has access to the 90 gram or has bought it yet. And I always like to blow my own horn a little bit. My flowers made with 90 gram. Oh, I put glue on the wrong side of this. Made with 90 gram were used in a flower show for Carta Tecnica Rossi. And it's in their new catalog too. Now these, you can see I put the glue on the wrong side, and that's okay. It's kind of like, what was I thinking, right? Wasn't. Okay, and then we're going to come in and do this one. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one. Put the glue on the correct side. One more there. There. So I'm going to take these and give them a little more of a furl. there's that. I'm also going to take this opportunity to add another little wire to this because I want it to be a little longer. So I'm going to cut a longer piece. Probably way too long, but that's okay. You can always make it smaller. I'm going to cut another piece of this. And I've used a really thin wire here because poppies have a lot of movement to them, and it's easier to do that if you have a thinner wire. Might as well just cut all this. I've got 3 strips. Do the same thing we've done before. Okay, so we're going to start right up here at the very top. And this is where we're going to add this second one, and this is just totally optional. We're going to add the second one in right down there, and it will be seamless. And don't forget, we're going to add some leaves to these as well. I did not get that on there very well. But we're going to wrap it one more time anyway when we add the leaves. So there you have it. There's your calyx on there. So we're going to come back and do the leaves. Okay, so welcome back. We're going to make a couple of leaves here, and I have just a piece of green doublet here, and it's about 11 inches long and almost 6 inches wide, and that'll be fine. I'm going to fold it in half. We're going to fold it in half again just to cut it. We're going to cut it in half. Okay. Now, we've got this bin. You always want to make sure you keep it folded. And I'm going to cut there. And then I'm just going to cut this on the diagonal. Okay, so I've got that one and that one. We'll do another one. So you can keep your paper straight. I can't. I'll cut this edge. And we're going to cut this on the diagonal as well. Am I mumbling? I'm sorry. I need to learn to speak a little clearer. Okay. Doesn't have to be exact. They're fine. So we are going to sandwich these in. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to glue these together, and then we're going to cut them before we put them on a wire. So I'm not going to embed the wire this time. We're going to use the chevron technique where we add the wire at the end. There we go. Just a little. You want just a little bit of glue here. Okay. And while this is still wet, we are going to do our leaf. So we're just going to come up here and create similar to what we did on the calyx. Okay, and I'm going to come down. I want this one to be a little rounder. Easier said than done, right? Just a little bit out there. And you don't have to be exact on this at all. You know, just make it to your satisfaction. And I'm going to get bigger as I go down. Take a little bit out there. And then I'm going to come around. The same thing here. Okay, so now we're going to open this up and see what we have. So just be gentle. All your little parts. I got parts stuck on my finger. Just pull it open. This is where having a sharp tool might come in handy just to get in there. There we go. And let's start this way. This glue is pretty stuck and we can come in and fix this. The thing I remember most in the garden was how frilly the poppy leaves were. And every one that you do is going to be different. See, so we have some uneven here. We're going to cut that. Got a piece here that needs to come out. Piece here. So then we're going to take our glue. Actually, we're going to take a piece of wire. I'm going to try it this way. Okay, I'm going to use a really light gauge wire. And I'm going to come in here, pull this up so I can put glue in there. It's really tight. Okay. Add some glue in here. I think I'm going to use a lighter gauge wire than that. There we go. And you could use green. I'm using white. Doesn't matter. Well, maybe it is going to matter. No, I think I'm going to get it covered. Yeah. There. Okay. Just keep pressing and pushing it into the center. And then we're going to press that down. And I have a brayer somewhere, which I like to use on these, just to nice and tight. Now I'm going to come in and do some fine tuning on here. on some of these. Oh, you know what? Maybe not. I want it to have a lot of movement to it, because poppies do have a lot of movement to them. Okay, so we're going to take a little piece of tape. Okay, so we're going to take a piece of tape and just start by wrapping it really tightly around this wire. Get it wrapped. Oh, oops, I pulled too tight. Happens. There we go. Okay, so I'm just gonna wire it down to there because I don't want it to get too bulky. And let's go back to this one here. And poppies, you can see my boo-boo here goes in. Let's see if I can get it in there. Yeah. Press it down, let it dry. And their leaves come down from the base of the plant, kind of. So we're just going to wrap that the rest of the way. Now we can give it some movement. And you could, if you want to be really fancy, add your seed pod. Let's try. Let's grab a piece of tape. And like I said, anywhere I use the word tape, you can use floral tape. I just prefer, and I really cut this wonky, I prefer to use the crepe as my tape. I should have wrapped this on here before. I think we can do it all from there. So there you have it. One completed, totally completed poppy. And the reason I use this really light gauge wire for this is because poppies are just really whimsy. They go all kinds of different ways. So you can make it look any way you like. Rustic. And there we have it. Yay, we finished this one. We hope you enjoyed this. Christina's going to come back with some bonus content just in time for Veterans Day. So thanks so much for joining us on We Are Now Called Paper Talk. And we will see you next month with another tutorial.